Happy, happy, happy Tuesday. Guys, for the first time ever, I made a cup soup of ramen noodles, okay? That light is a little bright. Do we even need it? Okay, there we go. Alright, so I made a cup soup of ramen noodles. So let's say grace and let's talk, okay? Hold on, let me lay you guys back a little bit. I feel like I'm like cutting off my forehead. Dear God, bless this food in Jesus' name, amen. Alright, so here's the cup soup of noodles, guys. And this is healthy, okay? For me, it don't have any taste. Hold on, let me add my little honey mustard that I made. Stir, stir, stir. Guys, thank you for getting my last video outside on the one I posted yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Oh, Sunday. Thank you for getting that up to like 60 people watching, 66 people watching it. That's amazing. We have a cup of tea in my big mug, my mom's big star, my mom's big snowflakes. I couldn't tell. We're having green tea that helps you lose weight too, but it's not diet green tea because I'd be up all night. And we're just hanging out. Okay, so anyways, guys. So, I'm trying to think, what video was I supposed to tell you guys? There was something I was supposed to tell you guys. Alright. I want to tell you guys a story. With this whole Diddy thing going on, I want to tell you guys my experiences with SA, okay? If you guys don't know what that means, look it up. But I want to talk to you guys about it. It's happened to me, 3 times in my life, okay? And I'm just doing this to make notice of it, to talk about it, because I feel like a lot of men don't speak up about it. I feel like a lot of women do more, and I feel like a lot of men are starting to speak up about it on social media, different celebrities, different people, different social media influencers, even smaller channels I've seen have spoke up about it, okay? But, so, I'm not going to go into detail because YouTube is really picky. But if you want to see the whole, this has no taste to it. Because it doesn't have that seasoning. You need that seasoning pack. I must put just a little bit. But anyways, if you want to see the whole, like, detail video, it's on my TikTok video. And I don't remember what it's titled on it. It might be in a playlist. I don't remember. But, I'll tell you about the first one. So the first one happened, and I think I did do a video about it, but I'm going to do another one just so you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I was 5 years old, and it was a neighborhood person down the street from us. We lived on a 5-acre farm. This person lived at the end of the street, a long street. It was called Anderson Road. And my cousin's name is Anderson, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, this person did what they did to me. I was 5 years old. I'll never forget it. That followed me my whole childhood. It happened from the age of 5 all the way until I was 15 to when we moved to Florida. No one knew about it because the person, I'll explain it to you. So when it happens to you, a lot of these people that you guys are seeing coming forward now about Diddy, who a lot of people think, well, why didn't you say something then? Unless you're a victim and you know how you feel when you're a victim, you're scared when you know that person is out there and can get you, okay? So a lot of these victims feel safe because he's locked up. So there's a lot. There's 155 people going to come forward, right? It's over for him, basically. Same with the Cosby. Same with the Jeffrey Epstein, same with the R. Kelly, same with a whole bunch of other people. Now they have the fall of Chris Brown. That's going to be on the ID channel. Well, anyway, so it happened to me from the age of 5 until I was 15. No one knew about it because the person threatened my family, threatened me, and I was acting out. My mom wants to say, oh, he was acting out because he had a disability and blah, 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 blah. She thinks she knows everything. She doesn't. I couldn't tell anybody. I don't even think I even told my best friend. I don't even think my best friend William knew. And that's why I was very, very, very an angry child, really angry, really mad at people, really disgusted by people, was ticked off about a lot of people, right? So, anyways, cut to 2011, worst year of my life. I was working at a school. I was volunteering. Actually, technically, I was volunteering at a school my mom worked at. At the front desk, I would watch the kids in the morning, right? And there was this kid, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't like him. I don't want to talk about him. He's trans now. Anyways, I'm not against that, but I'm just not going to say his name because I'm not going to give him any clout. Not that I'm famous, but still. So anyway, and it's a common name. A lot of white people name their sons this. A lot of white people do. So anyway, there was this girl named Brittany who didn't like me at all, right? There was two Brittany's. There's one Brittany, like the good Brittany, and the bad Brittany. So the bad Brittany was already known in the school as a hoe because she slept around with everyone, right? So then there was like Eric, Anthony, I forget this other girl's name, that worked in the front desk with me because when they were in school, they were allowed to be like, hey, one period they get to work at the front desk and help out. You get to do something, some elective that you like, right? If your grades are good, you come to school every day, you don't get in fights, you're allowed to do one elective that you like, right? So you're not stuck in a boring classroom and you get extra credit for it. So a lot of the kids wanted to work in the front desk with just to see that type of atmosphere. So every period there was a different kid that would come and sit next to me and kind of be like my little assistant, and I was my mom's little assistant. So anyways, there was this kid that everybody warned me about. They were like, yo, Matt, stay away from this kid. Don't trust this kid. He makes up stories. He's a liar. So I was like, okay. So anyway, I'm not going to go into all the details. But anyway, so come to find out, the family had connections with the state attorney, right? And we think it was a racial thing because he was white and I was black. And we think it was a racial thing and his mom was on something. And then to come to find out, the stepfather was doing something to him. And so the mother wanted someone to blame. So of course she's going to blame me, the black person, who she saw sitting next to her son in it's a lunchroom where we sat. Every morning when they would come to school early, my job was, I had my little walkie-talkie. I had my cell phone to know what time to let them go out to their classrooms. And so she came one day to pick him up or drop him off, and she saw all of the kids in there or whatever. And she said hi. She was really nice to me. She said hi to me a lot of times. Hi, Matt, how you doing? Because I would help. My job was always to get people their little sticker with their name on it so they could come on the property. So she always said hi to me. She knew I was a nice person. And sometimes she would come to the front desk and be like, she's rude. She liked my mom and she liked me, but she didn't like the other lady that sat next to my mom because we were just more nicer to her. So she was always like, I like you and I like your mom. I don't like that other lady. But anyways, so come to find out, they had connections with the state attorney who now by this day has been disbarred. He's fired. Anyways, so they were to bring up bogus charges. It took them 16 months to get charges against me. Someone came, knocked on the door. April of that year. I hate that year. That's like my worst year. So I ended up going to jail, right? They tried to charge me with all these bogus charges. It was nothing like that type of crime. It was just like they were saying cyber bullying, something like that, or whatever. And I'm like, how? Like, I don't even know his number. I don't even have him on social media. It was just like, anyway. So then no judge took the time to look at the case and see that there was nothing here. The sex crime people looked at it. Child services looked at it. Everyone came in and said, there's nothing here. He did nothing. What? Like, they even came and testified on my behalf. They were like, Your Honor, they're taking advantage of a nice person who has thousands. There were thousands, not thousands, but there had to be like 200 character witnesses statements by so many kids in the school that were like, it feels weird without Matt. We love Matt. Matt's the whole reason I only came to school. I'm not trying to toot my horn. It's just, that's my personality. Kids have always loved me. So they were like, he's a faggot. I hate him. Blah, blah, blah. About the kid. They were like, I hate him. He made this lie up. We'll testify. We don't care. Like, they wrote their statements in, everything, right? But in that time, I was in jail for 9 months. I was in there for 9 months, right? I got SA'd in there too by a man that came down from prison. He was serving the same charge, and he came down. And what happens is when those men have been gone for so long, they're so, I can't really say the word, but they're so charged up, right? And he saw a victim. He saw someone easy he could take advantage of. So that's what happened. It happened early in the morning because you're in a bubble and a bubble and a bubble. Like, okay, let's say this is the cage, then there's a little bubble inside. That's where you are. The COs are on the outside. They're not even in the bubble with you. So anyways, this was early morning when they let you go work out. I was sleeping and it happened. And I will never forget, like, there's two smells that literally trigger me. The smell of musky person, like a person who don't take a shower. Like homeless people, no offense to homeless people, but they have like this musky, dirty smell to them. It's like dirty, it smells like a really old, dirty diaper that someone left on an old person or a child. It stinks so bad. That's like my trigger, like my body freezes. And this person smelled like that, and then they were eating Skittles. I will never forget, Skittles were in their mouth. Anyways, but I just remember, I'm sorry, I'm having flashbacks, but I remember crying for my mom. I remember saying that. I remember like crying for my mom, like, Mom, help me, Mom, help me. And I remember like I could see her face, like my eyes were closed, like I was trying my hardest to just feel numb, if that makes sense. Like just try to be like I don't know. I don't know. It's like I felt numb, but I felt sick to my stomach at the same time. And so I was like biting on the blanket because I was trying not to like scream, because the person was like, I will kill you if you say something. I will kill you if you say something. I will kill you, like in my ear. And I was just like crying. And then I was trying to like just black it out like I did when the other ones happened. And I was just like, I could try to see my mom's face just to be like happy, because at the time, like my mom made me happy back then. And I was trying to like see my girlfriend. And I was trying to see like my, whoever else that made me happy at the time. But for whatever reason, I couldn't see that. Like I just saw black. I don't know why. And then I remember when everything was done, I remember the next day, that Friday, my lawyer came to see me, my public defender, who not all of them are good, but my public defender came and saw me. She was like, what's wrong with you? Like I was walking weird and whatever. And she was like, hey, can I ask you something? I was like, what? She's like, did something happen to you? And I'm just like I'm very like she couldn't even touch me. There was she couldn't, like she was so huggy because she was like a black lady, Southern black lady. So she's like, give me a hug. And I'm just like, and then she's just like, and then we sat down, and then she was like, what happened? Like she didn't even, like she just said, what happened? And I told her what happened, and she almost threw up, and then she got emotional, and she said, I'm calling, like as soon as I leave here, I'm calling your parents, like that. Like it's not even, like I'm calling them. They got to get you out of here. And my mom was in Texas taking care of her mother. Her mother was dying. My father was working so much. My sister just moved here with us. My little brother was still in high school. So I didn't have really anyone who could really like come and get me, right? And then the court just would not work with my parents because they were like, he has no record. We could have got him ROR. There was like, the court just would not work with her, because I understand when it's dealing with a child, I understand that. Don't get me wrong. I do. It's good that they do that. But when it's false charges, that's when I get mad at the system. But so anyways, I'll never forget. So then she left. She met with me. We were going over my case or whatever. She's like, no, let's take this to trial. They have nothing. Let's take this to trial. I'm like, okay. So then she must have left and called my mom like that day, or my dad, or whoever she called, because then later that night, it was so funny. It was so funny because like a week after this happened, this tiny gay guy, black gay guy, super funny, super sweet. He comes into our cell. He's in our cell with us. We were all playing, because I told you they taught me different card games. So we were playing bingo one night. He came in late at night. They put him upstairs. And so anyways, me and him just started talking because he just was like, yo, you don't seem like the type to be in here. He's like, what you do? Rob a store or something? Like, he was just joking around. And I just told him, like, what happened. He's like, dude, that's fucked up. Like, he was really pissed. He's like, my mom's a lawyer. Like, nah, this is fucked up. And he got, like, really angry. And so he was like, I'm going to talk to my mom. She's coming tonight. I'll talk to her. And then I was like, you know what? He's like, call your parents. Like, call your parents. I'm like, all right. Something just told him to call my parents. So I go over to the phone. The person that did what he did to me was sitting like maybe like 5 feet away from the phone, right? Because that's where all the rooms were full, but we were able to. They always had like an extra bunk bed that was like in the common area, like let's say like the cafeteria. So, anyways, he was sitting right there, and the phones were like in the corner under the stairs. And so, and the gels do look like they put on the movies. They literally do like that, or 90 Day Fever, like any of those different shows. It does look like that. It's not fake. It looks the movies make it look fake, but the TV shows, the reality shows, it's real. It really is real. So, excuse me. So, anyways, my mom got on the phone. My mom was like, "I heard what happened. I'm angry. I've been throwing up all day." Da 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 da. She was like, can you talk about it? And I'm like, no, he's kind of like right behind me. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to ask you yes or no questions. Just say yes, just say no. I was like, okay. So she went down the line, and then every time I would say yes, she would just get sick to her stomach and cry. Her mother was listening. My aunt was over there. So then my aunt had to like take the phone, and my aunt was like, sweetie, like, finish telling me what's going, like what happened. And I told her, and then she's like, okay, here's your mom. So my mom gets on the phone. Don't even worry about it. You're getting, like, this was Thursday. She's like, you're getting out tomorrow morning. Your dad is coming to get you. So I was like, okay, good. And then I told my little friend, I think his name was like Cody or something like that. And he's like, yo, look for me when I get out. He's like, I'm gonna talk to my mom tonight. Like, I promise you. So anyway, so when I was leaving on Friday, when they were processing me to get me out, I said goodbye to all my friends. That person grabbed me and said, I'll see you on the outside. If you say anything, and anyways. And in my head, I'm thinking like, dude, like, it's already been said. Like, in my head, I'm thinking like, he doesn't even know that I said something already, right? So anyway, I come out, this young, he had to be like 26. So he had to be like my age. He wrote this really, 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 really sick statement or whatever that he wrote that he was going to like, cause you have to document it. The jail has to document it. And I remember the CEO or the prison, whatever you want to call the person, she comes in and she's a black woman and she's like, sweetie, she's like, why didn't you say something to me? Like, I would have, she's just like, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry, and I'll be praying for you. And she's like, whatever you need, let me know. Like, whatever you need. And so when she read the statement of what the stupid young cop wrote, and by this time they already sent it to my mom, the lady was like, one, I know Matthew. He don't talk like this. Two, was this like one of your sick fantasies or something? Because the guy wrote like something like a really nasty fantasy, something you would see on social media. So anyways, they ripped that up. They didn't even put that out there. She sat there for like maybe an hour, and because it took a while to do processing. So anyways, she wrote it the right way. Then she submitted that to the court system, and then I had to come testify like a week later. But anyways, I remember my dad got me out. I gave him a big hug. They told them to take me straight to the doctor to see if there was any damage. And that's what we did. We went straight to the doctor. There was internal bleeding. There was a bunch of other issues. And the doctor wrote up his report. Then they said, okay, we're going to have to check you for HIV for the next 10 years because you don't know. In my head, I'm like, oh, great. What's next? What else is going to happen? Like, I was, anyway. So then, I'll never forget. I get all the way home. My dad's quiet the whole ride home. He didn't know what to say. They gave me some painkillers, some medication. They did the test that you have to do when you're SA'd. There's a test it's protocol. It's what the hospitals have to do for men and women. It doesn't matter. And then he didn't know what to do. He just was like, because remember, I've been out of the house for like 9 months. I used to share the room with my brother. When I came back, he's like, Matthew, you're in the back of the house. This is your room. The refrigerators are stocked. He's just like, if I was you, I'd go take a shower. That's what I did. I went took a shower. I cried in the shower. I cried. I cried. I cried. I don't want to be too scary. There was a lot of, anyways, let's just say there was a lot that was in the water. I'm sorry, guys. This is hard to talk about. I didn't even know that it's affecting me. This has almost been like 12 years ago. But anyway, so then my sister, she comes home from work because she works at a hospital. And she just hugs me and hugs me and hugs me. And she cries with me. And then she's just like, why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you tell us anything? I'm just like, how was I going to tell you anything when he's sitting right there all the time? She's like, oh, yeah, that's true. And then my other sister that didn't live here, she called me. My aunt came over. My aunt was livid. My aunt was so livid. My aunt was like, if I would have saw him, I would have caught a case. And even my brother was the same way. My uncle was the same way. My girlfriend was the same way. Her family was like, what the? My best friend John was the same way. John was like, what the? I never told my son. I never told him anything. Like that just was, you don't tell a 2-year-old that. That daddy went through something dramatic. You don't say nothing. But then, so then it happened again. So anyway, so we go to court. I testified to the person. Guys, I don't know, guys. With all these victims of Diddy, when it's time to go to trial, and if they really do a trial, it's going to be hard for you to be in the same room with the person that violated you. It's going to be so hard. I remember going. It was my mom, my dad, and me. And I remember going. I didn't tell anyone else really about it. It was so hard to look at that person. It just, oh my God, I was so sick to my stomach. Like, I remember the judge made that person like leave the room when I came in because I was having a panic attack. The judge made them leave the room first. I came in. I sat on my side. He sat on his side with his, he didn't really have anyone. There was really no one. He was just shackled in an orange jumpsuit because, they denied his plea to come, like he was trying to get out because they heard what he did. I remember the judge wrote what he said. The judge resentenced him. The judge gave him, I think, life. I think he got life on top of both because he did something in the early 60s. No, he did something in the early 2000s. And then on top of mine. And then they found some other stuff that he did to some other people, even when he was in prison. So the judge gave him life. No, I think the judge gave him 30 years. The judge gave him 30 years. And then he just looked at me and said, I will get you when I get out. Watch your back. That's what he said. That's exactly what he said. And then we left the courthouse. So then I had that in the back of my head. Plus I was still dealing with my court case. So the gay guy in the jail, his mother contacted us. She became my lawyer because the black lady was really doing nothing good. And she got the whole, she was like, let's go to court. So we went to court and everything was dropped. But anyways, let me get you guys, because we're 23 minutes in, let me get you to the next one. So, cut to 2020. Something happened to me. And I was violated again. This time it wasn't so, let's just say I was violated. Let's say I was violated. And this one, how do I explain it? This one was hard. This one was hard because this was someone that I knew. And this one was scary. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional because it's just like, I try not to think about these things that much because it's just hard for me. But this one was hard. I remember this one. This one was like, damn. This one was a little scary. I reported it. I did report it because there was no proof or nothing. And it wasn't a full-on, thing. It was more of just like, yeah. And so the person was like, the court system was like, it's kind of your word against that person. And so, you know, we really can't do anything about it. You know, if you had more proof, we could. So that was the first time the system failed me. Well, for the second time, actually. But with that type of thing, that was the time that it failed me. So now, hearing this whole thing was like I couldn't even watch the whole R. Kelly thing. I couldn't even watch the whole Cosby thing. I'm probably not even going to watch the whole Diddy thing because it's just so triggering for me. And on top of that, now dealing with like the death of my brother and like all this other stuff. I don't know. It makes me frustrated when people are like, oh, why is he so fat? And why is he so this? It's like, dude, when you've been triggered and stuff has happened to you, when you've dealt with abuse like that, it's hard to live life again. I mean, some people do it. Some people do it. They write books about it. They turn it into something good. I'm still waiting for God to show me how to do that. Like, I'm still waiting for God. If God is saying do it through my YouTube, I'm going to do it through my YouTube. But I feel like I'm not making a big audience. Like, I'm only reaching about 3,000 people. I'm thankful for that. Don't get me wrong. But I wish that I was like up to at least 8,000 people. Because I mean, to me, it's like it's a little more of getting more people close to God or whatever religion they believe in. More people to know awareness to disabilities, for being SA'd, to abuse. There's so many forms of abuse. To suicide. I mean, I don't even know if I could say that. YouTube might not even put this video up because I just said that. And I think YouTube, honestly, YouTube, I love you guys, but you guys need to change some of your rules because you guys let a lot of other stuff slide. Like, I was researching before I did this video today. Hear me out, YouTube. I have a bone to pick with you guys. Why do you guys let spanking, I don't know why people have a fetish with that or whatever, why do you guys let that be the top trender if someone, when I typed in Google, I said, Google, what are the most trending things on YouTube, right? So they listed, it's mukbangs, it's ASMR, there's TikTok trends, there's, what else was there? TikTok trends, diapers was on there. Diapers is like one over whatever. That's weird. That to me is just people's fetishes. There was spanking. There was some other things that I was just like, that is so weird. But then the things that actually help people, like I get if you're talking about corporal punishment or discipline and what not to do, you know, because there's a whole about do you spank, do you not spank. There's a whole thing on there, and I've talked about that in my videos before. And then there's a whole thing with like bedwetting and the different things and all that stuff. I understand that. Yes, that's good. That's educational for people who have children that do that or teenagers that do it or whatever. And what's the right thing to use and da-da-da-da-da. I get that. Fine. But you guys don't have the stuff that you should have out there trending about dealing with depression, anxiety, food disorders. What else? OCD, post-traumatic stress disorder. SA, all these different things that are out there. Like, those are the things you would think YouTube would let go, but YouTube lets all these weird things go, and they don't get flagged, and they don't get, I mean, it's just so stupid. It's like, excuse me, it's like, it's just weird. It's weird to me. It just makes no sense to me. It's like, YouTube, you guys need to crack down on the right stuff, and not crack down on the stuff when people are trying to educate people about their story or their journey or whatever. That's where I get a little frustrated with YouTube. But it is what it is. I know that Susan, because I know she's the CEO of Disney or YouTube, I know she's trying to keep it safe because she got a lot of heat with a lot of different social media influencers who did bad, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, just different people. So I get where she's trying to come from. She's trying to be smart. But anyways. And then what's hard for me when you go down the rabbit hole of people that are made fun of, that are bullied, that are called liars, that are said that they're not true victims, you're re-victimizing them. People need to realize that. Like, I'll never forget. I think it was like a week after my mom and them came back from Ohio after my brother's thing. And we were having some conversation or some argument. It was something. And she was like re-asking me what happened to me. And I'm just like, and then starting to try to like pull the strings because she wants to be Mrs. Perfect Mother, blah, 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 blah. And like, she don't want to like admit that this happened to your child, not under her watch because she wasn't on the property, under my dad's watch, but I don't even blame him because it was a big farm. And then she was acting like, and it's funny because she finally, after all these years, finally said, I was very protective of you guys. I really kept you guys close. But for years, I used to say that, no, I let you guys do whatever you want. No, you didn't. You had us very isolated and protective. But like for her to like re-victimize me for that, like that made me frustrated because I'm just like, damn, but she don't know anything about that life. But it's just like, it's frustrating for me. And then when people want to pick and pick and pick, like I'll never forget when when certain family members started to find out, because I love you, but I won't, there's certain people that have said, man, that never happened to you. Like, you're just making that up. That didn't happen. I'm just like, wait, what? And I'm just like, wow, okay. Don't talk to you about serious stuff anymore. Or my ex-sister-in-law, well, I don't think she really victimized me, but she did say something that pissed me off. Well, there are a lot of innocent people that are sitting in jail, but they're really not innocent. So I'm like, are you trying to say that I'm not innocent, that I made it up? Like, that kind of like, I really lost a little bit of trust because I was like, wait a minute. Do you really hear what you're saying? But people who are victims of that, right? You're not going to sit there and make something up on someone. You're not going to sit there and put your face to something if it's not true. Like, I know a lot of people think that people made up stuff about R. Kelly. There were so many people that were for him. Let me tell you something. As powerful as this man was, he had problems. A lot of problems. Going all the way back to his early childhood. A lot of problems. His own brother said that there were problems. His own brother knew there were going to be victims. I think if I was in the limelight right now, right, and say that I was at a party, right? And I went to a lot of parties. I went to a lot of high school parties. There was a lot of stuff that was put in people's drinks. Something happened. Oh, that's another story I need to tell you guys. Oh my God, I have a lot of stories to tell you guys. But, and I always forget them, but I might tell you one tomorrow. Remind me. In the comments, say, please, Reese Boy, tell us your story for tomorrow. Because I know people think my channel is a nothing channel. It's never going to go anywhere. But I have people that really do enjoy watching me and enjoy telling me like, hey, you changed my